Hello everyone, amateur meteorologist FirstinWeather here. It's June 11th, 2019, and we have a lot to talk about as we have Tropical Storm Barry, the first direct impact tropical system for the United States this hurricane season. And this is the 1 p.m. released NOAA hurricane track, and as you can see, it is expected to make landfall somewhere in the central portion of Louisiana on early Saturday morning, and then go due northwards before taking this distinct northeasterly turn and rapidly weaken into a tropical depression. So this orange wind field that you see right here, that is showing the extent of tropical tropical storm winds. And as you can see, that field is still quite small, but it should expand and grow as we get closer and closer to Friday and Saturday, and should be around this big before landfall. So let's get right to it. First thing I want to talk about is the very big flooding potential. I'm very concerned about this, especially because, as you can see, the orange is 6 to 10 inches of rain alone, right? And the red, the pink, the purple, that's 15 to 20 plus inches of rain in a wide area right here. I'm very concerned about this. I do believe that this could lead to some disastrous flooding, maybe property damage costs in the billions of dollars. Really could devastate the state. I'm definitely very concerned about this, and if the system does stall and slows down even more, we really could be seeing some catastrophic flooding. And to make matters worse, as you can see, this track is going like this, or not like that, but it's going to be going something like this. Alright, so all those northeasterly winds are going to be pumping right into the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River already is overwhelmed and is at flood stage, so all the water coming in from the ocean into the Mississippi, plus all the torrential rains in this area right around here, is really going to lead to massive flooding issues. And so the main threat with this system is not the winds, it's going to be the flooding and the rain. So now if we go to the flooding or excessive rainfall risk by the NOAA, we can see that it's high, which is really rare. You don't really see this that often, and so this further shows the concern for flooding with this system. Now I want to start off with the 0Z July 11th spaghetti plot forecast. As you can see, as we go through time with the 6Z, the 12Z, and the 18Z, there is a slight shift eastward with the landfall, and I think this is reflecting the models, as we have that ridge in the west, which is going to push the system eastward and then eventually make it go to this northeasterly turn. I disagree with the NWS when they have this track going so far north before making that turn. I feel like that turn will happen much earlier, more like somewhat like this. Alright, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. So if we look at these tracks, we see that there's a distinct shift eastward and a very sharp northeasterly turn once the system clears Louisiana and enters Little Rock, or not Little Rock, Arkansas. It's going to take this distinct northeastward turn, which really could impact the Mid-Atlantic states. So I will be discussing potential Mid-Atlantic impacts, since most of my viewers are along the I-95 corridor. So now that we've discussed the spaghetti plots, let's look at the intensity. So most of the models actually do keep it under Category 1 strength. So I think the NOAA Center might have to change this to just a S, as it's looking like this storm really won't be that intense. And since it won't be that intense, the biggest steering factor will be the low-level winds, not the high-level winds. And so we have to take this into account when forecasting the storm's track. Alright, and so since only one of the models takes it to a Category 1, I think it's safe to say at this point that this system really is not going to become a hurricane or a major hurricane of any sort. It will be mostly a tropical storm, with the main threat being devastating rainfall. So now let's look at the GFS. If we reload this page, we can see the 18Z run is starting to come out, but let's look at the 12Z, since we don't have enough hours yet for the 18Z. As you can see, it strengthens the system, makes landfall in eastern Louisiana, and quickly weakens, but in that time drops a large amount of rainfall. And as you can see, it takes it far north, and then it just basically it congeals this with the other weather systems in the area. And then if we look at the upper air, we can see why the model is doing this, because the ridge that was steering it before right here, Alright, that, if you go through time, really does not move at all, except we do then get, according to this latest run, we get blocking right here. And so that is going to essentially stall this system in this area, and that could really increase the rainfall throughout here. If we look at some of the previous runs, we can see that it still does show that ridge in the 6Z and the 12Z. And so this causes the system to really slow down. Now if we go to the European model, we see that takes the system same spot, central portion of Louisiana, and then it takes it in this distinct northeasterly track before getting before becoming part of the jet stream, and where it goes northeasterly gets absorbed by the weather systems right here. Alright, and so the European has a more northeasterly turn than the GFS. Alright, and so this is the European upper air. We can see we still have that distinct ridge right here that's steering the storm to go this way. It's blocking it. However, there's also a trough right now that will be going through, and if that can pick the system up, it can make it go northeasterly. So if you look at what the model is showing, it goes like this, and then it looks like the trough now will be too far east for it to really get picked up by that, for Barry to get picked up by that trough. And so because of that, I'm thinking that actually this system will actually stall in Missouri and Kentucky and not go into that northeasterly track. Originally I was talking about the system going like this and explaining why, but looking at the new data, it looks like it might actually go like somewhat like this. It's going to go through here and then essentially become very slow in this region before finally getting carried away. So while it will take that distinct northeasterly turn, it's gonna essentially stall right around here, as it has that ridge to the north, and so the mid-Atlantic impacts will be reduced by this to just a few storms, because the system will have essentially rained itself out for being there so long. If we look at the ensemble models, we can see what this is painting. It's kind of the same thing, and we have a trough right here, and we have the ridge right here. Alright, and so the system makes landfall again. There's consensus on that. It will be in this area right here. Alright, and so then this is Barry right here, and so it gets very slow right in this area. I think there is potential for it to stall right around here, as we will have these upper level winds like this, so like that. Alright, and so I think it could stall in the Arkansas area, which is not really shown in the tracks right in the forecast tracks right now, and then it essentially just gets carried away eastward. So it still will make that northeasterly turn. I just think that as of now it's going to spend a majority of its time right around here before being very weak and then finally exiting to the northeast. Now if we look at the GFS ensembles, or the GEFS, we still have that ridge, we still have that trough, and as it goes through, this ridge I think will really slow it down. Then the GFS does show this, it just stalls and it completely collapses. So to be honest, I think this ensemble model is really showing the best interpretation of what could happen, and so if I were to make a forecast, again, you should always listen to the official National Weather Service or NOAA forecast. Mine is just for speculation for weather enthusiasts, but my forecast would be this. So it's going to make landfall somewhere in central Louisiana, then it's going to stall somewhere in this area, become very slow somewhere right here in this box, and move very slowly, dumping torrential rains in this area right here, and then it will weaken, essentially rain itself out, and then just get carried away and merge into one of these systems right here and exit. So really I think it will be more of a no-show for states like Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, and will be more of a rain event for these areas right here, and especially for this area as it makes landfall. Now I want to look at some of these short-range models to really look at the precipitation amounts. If you look at total accumulated precip, go full, we can see that the model is really showing the potential for 20 plus inches of rain, just like the NOAA forecast. So again, devastating flooding is really a huge possibility. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I had to make it quick today, and I'll see you next time.